National Amber Alert Day is tomorrow. We're going to talk about it and something that I thought you guys needed to know, just so you guys have the power. Let's get into it. Hello, everyone. Steve Stone here, host of the Grim Truth Podcast. Tomorrow is National Amber Alert Day, and as I was scrolling through the social media verse and looking at things, looking at missing persons pages, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement here, who in the great state of Florida, where I reside, is our state agency. So they put this out. It was a tweet. And it's Beat the Clock. Tomorrow is National Amber Awareness Day. Do you know the common misconceptions about missing persons? Hashtag Beat the Clock. And I saw this on Twitter and I was like, wow, this is pretty spectacular that we have an agency who gets it. And Florida, for the longest time, lately, we've had a lot of pro-missing people law enforcement agencies. Polk County, where I live in Pasco County, Sheriff Grady Judd, Sheriff Naco here in Pasco County. They're very pro-missing person as far as they do their very best. They're not they do very well with the training, with alert systems, and so we have a great system here. I think in Florida, there's things that can be improved on, like everywhere, but They have this out, so I wanted to get into this with you today, and because I believe knowledge is power, and these are misconceptions that they put on a poster, and I wanted to go through them with you. So let's just take a look at it. So the first one on this poster, it says myths surrounding missing persons. There is a waiting time to report someone missing. False. On the poster here, a report of a missing child or adult can be made at any time. There's a possibility of endangerment occurs. And I love this because this is the most common misconception about missing persons cases. Oftentimes, and I have heard this many, many times, that people are told to wait. You got to wait 24 hours, 48 hours. If you feel there's your person's endangered, your child automatically endangered, and we're going to get to that in one of the other points that they're made. But especially if there's somebody's endangered, there is a myth. There's no waiting time. You go, you file a report as quick as possible. Don't delay. The sooner you do it, the better off you'll be. And I think that's number one, and that's the most common misconception. And I'm glad that the FDLE put that as number one. Number two, runaway children are not in danger. Now, this one right here is another great. I'm so happy they put this on there. So on the poster, it says runaway children are highly vulnerable and may fall prey to human trafficking. Now, this is my favorite point that they make on here, because we discuss Amber Alerts all the time. Whether or not a child is a runaway has no bearing on the fact that they're not in danger. And this is something that I beat constantly about. There are agencies throughout the country that don't, issue Amber Alerts for runaway children. And I say all the time, it shouldn't be the case. The agencies could issue an Amber Alert for a child. The fact that they're not where they should be is an endangerment, and it should be issued. An Amber Alert should be issued. So I think that I just want to put it back up here. I think that is a great point that they make. Runaway children they are in danger, and these are the things you should. If your child's gone, report them immediately. And if this is a continual problem, it doesn't matter. Report them anyway. And I think that my state gets it we've had several runaways here in Pasco County, Florida, and they have been on it from the day or the hour that the child went and left, and they're found rather quickly in most cases. So just another great point here. As we go on to the third point they make, most child kidnappings are committed by strangers. This is hugely false. Only a small percentage of kidnappings are committed by strangers. Most kidnappings are somebody that the child knows or the family knows, especially if it's a parental, somebody, the child's parent, whether it be mom or dad. That's happened. That's going to be in the next one below. So this is another misconception, but I thought this was great. It's educating people on some of the misconceptions when it comes to missing persons cases, especially child kidnappings. And you could say the same for most kidnappings in general with adults. Generally, if someone's being kidnapped, they either know that person or they've come in contact with that person before. So, number 4, a missing adult case cannot be reported as adults are allowed to leave without notification. Another one we get constantly. We get this all the time, and it's complete BS. And they say adults may be reported at the first sign of possible endangerment. Now, what is important about this to me is anybody with a mental health issue is endangered right off the bat because they take medication. If they're not on their medication, then they can go through certain withdrawals. Certain medications you have to be weaned off of. You can't just stop taking the medication. And so this is an endangerment right here. We have silver alerts for the elderly. A mental health alert would be fantastic, but this is another thing that I thought was great that the FDLE did was put this on here because listen, adults go missing all the time, and we hear all the time from families. Hey, the cops said that they're 21, over 20, over 18, over 21, whatever the case may be, and they're allowed to go missing. They can do whatever they want, and that is. Yes, no crap, no duh. The person's an adult. We know that. But this is uncharacteristic of the individual. And I think that's where the disconnect is, where law enforcement doesn't listen to families. Law enforcement is just going by not even procedure. They're going by what they've known or what they think they know, and they don't do anything. So I think this fourth point here is just awesome, and it just says, so if they're endangered, we talked about, we had a case last year, Jesse Conger, who was a military veteran who had PTSD, and he took medication, and his girlfriend reported him missing right away because she knew that something wasn't right, and he didn't take all of his things, and so she reported him right away. And that's very, very important. And this is just great way for law enforcement to put something like that. And finally, the final point that they make here: family abductions of children are low risk. Now, this is absolutely false because we've had experiences. I know I've read stories, and I'm sure you have too, that family abductions of children are very risky for the child, especially when it comes to custody battles. The unfortunate thing about custody battles and the adults is that the kids are right in the middle of that poor trauma, and so one parent doesn't want to lose the child to the other, and they freak out, and the child ends up missing, and bad things happen. And so this is one of those things where, and I hate to see that, the kids don't ask to be born. They're not, they're just caught in the crossfire. And sometimes the families are so emotionally distraught that they make poor decisions and they endanger the child. And it just doesn't need to be the situation. But this was just a great all around flyer. I am going to post it on our Facebook page, on the Grim Truth Podcast Facebook page, but just a fantastic flyer. And I think that this is something that all law enforcement agencies should abide by, as tomorrow we celebrate National Amber Alert Day. I want to remind everybody that coming up this Friday, we are going to have the case of Stephen Keith Robertson. He went missing from Texas September the 5th, 2018. We're going to be covering his story Friday, this coming Friday. And then on Monday, we're going to be doing the case of Jerry Lynn Handley, a.k.a. Gertie. She goes by Gertie. She went missing from Popka, Florida on May the 21st, 2017. I want to let everybody know that as we continue to rock and roll. But I wanted to thank you for watching this video. And do us a favor. Subscribe to the Grim Truth Podcast YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so you never miss content just like this on the missing and the murdered. And as we continue to be a voice for the voiceless and the media for the missing, I'm Steve Stone. Have a wonderful day.